Hello and welcome to this GarrettCom Training presentation on how to modify the privileges of different user accounts. Okay, so I was going to put this part as a previous video, but it got a bit too long, so I wanted to break it up into two sections. So in this one, we're just going to go into the user mode. I'm just going to show users to see who we have on here. What I want to do is start from scratch, so I'm going to delete the user account called James. And just go yes, and I also want to then recreate him, so I'm going to go add user equals James level equals 2. Give it a password, just say password. Okay, so if we go show users now, we can see that this user is a manager level, so he's got access to all of the read commands and all of the write commands. Now, this might not be convenient. You might want to have different levels of managers. You might want to have read, write, and read only, or you might want to have read, write to specific sections of the commands. And what you can do is you can say this particular user can only have access. I think it's access control. Question mark. Bear with me. User access. That's it. User access. And then the user equals James and group. You can limit this particular user to only have a subset of the commands. So the same way that we had, if we go back one step, the same way we type in RSTP to go into the RSTP set of commands, we type in IGMP to go into the IGMP set of commands, we type in VLAN to go into the VLAN set of commands. What you can do is restrict different user accounts to only a subset of the command groups based on these command groups. So this particular user can have RSTP commands, but they can't have IGMP commands. They can have VLAN commands, but they can't have dual home commands. So what we want to do is I'll show you how to do that. So we go user access, the user account equals James, and the group they have access to. And you just list the groups that you want to modify. So for example, VLANs, IGMP, and then use the help to help you work out the structure of the command. Go up, arrow to see the previous command you entered, and here we want to specify that the VLAN and the IGMP set of commands, for the permission set of write rather than read, we want to disable access to those. Okay, so let's do that now. And here we see a list of command groups that this user still has access to. So if we now go back to show users, we can see that previously we had write access was all commands. Now we have write access is to the remainder, the ones we haven't removed up here. So if I log out, yes, we're going to log out, and then log back in, this time as James, and if I try to go into VLAN mode, I can get in there because I can read, but I can't write. So if I go VLAN enable, I'm not allowed to. If I go into IGMP mode, IGMP enable, I'm not allowed to. However, if I go into RSTP mode, which wasn't disabled, RSTP enable, everything works fine. RSTP is already enabled, forgive me, RSTP disable, done, I can disable it. So you can divide up users into read-only and read-write, and then different levels of read-write based on command groups. So this touches on a concept of authorization, and there's a concept called AAA, which is authentication, authorization, and accounting. And authentication checks who you are, authorization restricts what you can do, and accounting records what you did. And normally we use protocols such as Radius and TACAX to implement these features, and these features are also supported on the switch. But this is a way of restricting, of implementing authorization by restricting what different users can do. It's not done centrally, it's done locally on the switch, but it's still a method of implementing authorization. So it's there if you need it. Oftentimes it's useful. It's only available in secure software, and that pretty much covers that. One final thing I wanted to cover with you is if we go back to the user section, the user access can not only restrict what commands a user can enter when they're on the switch, but it can also restrict the method that the user uses to log into the switch. So if we use the help again, so user access, and then the user name is James, and the service. Now I can specify that I want this particular user account to only be able to access the switch via telnet. Now, if by default, you can access it by telnet, by the web, by SSH if you have that configured, listed here as ACL. But if you want to prevent access to the web interface for a particular user account, you can do that. So all you need to do is just go web and then disable. I think I might have made a mistake somewhere, bear with me. I have made a mistake with my spelling. Let's just pop back, service, and if you now go show users, you can see that it says no web for that particular user. So if I try to log into the user account via that particular 192.168.10.1, I believe the IP address is, loads up the user James and password is password. I try and log in, it won't let me in, just to make sure that it's not a typo, PASSWORD. I can't log in. However, if I log in as manager, the manager logs in just fine. Okay, so that's how to restrict access to the switch for different user accounts, and it's how to restrict the commands different user accounts have access to while they're on the switch. Okay, so that completes this video. I hope it's been interesting, I hope it's been helpful, and on behalf of GarrettCom, I'd like to thank you for your time. Goodbye.